Hi, I'm Dr. Cher, and today I want to talk to you about, really it's based on a quote I heard from a book I was reading recently. And the book it's about the Paris Library during the war and World War II. And one of the characters in it, she's having a conversation with a young girl, about 13 years old, who's quite upset. And at this point in time, this woman now, it's in the 70s, and she's much older woman. She was a young lady during the World War II. Anyways, she's speaking to this young girl who's very upset, 13-year-old, very upset about some things that have gone on. And she says, let's bake some cookies. So they bake some cookies. And the young girl eats a couple of cookies, and then she starts reaching for more. And the woman, the older woman, that she's from France originally, French woman, looks at her and she says, no. She says, 2 cookies are for your stomach. Anything more, you're feeding your soul. And it really hit me, because I've been working on weight loss a long time. And without a doubt, there's a lot of people that take great comfort from their food. And don't get me wrong, food can be pleasurable. It doesn't mean we just should be living on lettuce and spinach and chicken for the rest of our lives. Absolutely, food can be very pleasurable. But there's a big difference when you're just embracing the pleasure of the food for the sake of the pleasure versus using the food because another part of you is hurting, right? So that's where she was saying, to soothe your soul. So even just thinking of food differently, just thinking of it that way. And I just think I found the statement, soothing your soul, there was just such a level of compassion to it, and there's sort of a gentleness to it. And even just when thinking about it, if you find yourself reaching for those extra cookies or chocolate, rather than getting into a lot of negative self-talk of, oh, I shouldn't be doing this, and I'm just stressed, and this is why, and why am I doing this again? I can't stop myself. Even just asking yourself in that way, that question, saying, why do I need to soothe my soul? What's happening? Because you know there's something that you're trying to deal with, or something you're trying to cover up, or something you're trying to feel better about, but you're using food. And we all know food is probably not going to solve the problem. And if anything, it's probably going to potentially make you feel worse, particularly if you're trying to lose weight. And then this is sabotaging your efforts. So the first thing is that level of awareness, just thinking of it differently, asking yourself, just literally ask yourself in that way, going, why does my soul need soothing right now? And then even with that in itself can sometimes interrupt the pattern of reaching for food. But then the next part is like, okay, so what else can you do to soothe your soul? And ideally in something that's healthy and good for you. So making a list of all these things. So I'll just throw out a few examples for you, because, first let's recognizing it, and then let's look at some examples. And again, this is a conversation I have with a lot of my clients, particularly because the method I use for weight loss involves a lot of intermittent fasting. And I would say over my years of, working in the weight loss field, over 15 years, until I used intermittent fasting, it was still an issue where people they'd be upset about something turning to food. But definitely I have found with using the intermittent fasting, it just seems to bring those buried issues to the forefront and becomes much higher level of awareness around what they're trying to soothe by using food. So anyways, so because of that, I do get to have pretty interesting conversations with my clients about what's going on in their life and how they're using food, and can we find some better options. So, a few things that are helpful. One is it can simply be, maybe you just need to pick up the phone and call somebody, talk to them, or Zoom with them, as we have been lately. Journaling. The other thing is those would be maybe talking about what's actually bothering you. Sometimes it's just finding something else just to kind of alleviate the discomfort, make yourself feel better. But it's healthy. So, music, very powerful. Listening to music, if you like singing, dancing, any of those things, that movement, the music, for many people can be very transformative in terms of how they're feeling. There's one of my favorite shows, Grey's Anatomy. And they used to have them, the first season, the 2 characters would say we need to dance it out when they've had a bad day. So Dance it out. That's one way of doing it. It's one of my favorites. It could be something more visual. It could be looking at pictures, something that makes you feel good, happy memories, that just very restorative. Anything that make you laugh, is it watching some things, if you have a favorite comedian, or phoning somebody who makes you laugh. Laughter, unbelievably healing. I mean, it literally releases endorphins. That's an amazing way to soothe your soul. I even have a few clients. Okay, this doesn't sound like much fun, but I do get it, that it can be something that's very, can shift your energy around, make you feel better. One of them in particular, what she would do, two of them I'm thinking of, that they go and they clean out a cupboard or something, or they clean something, which doesn't sound like much fun, cleaning, but there can be that sense of satisfaction, right? You do it, you feel better, you're, hey, that was good. But one in particular, what she'd like to do, she would go into her closet, her clothing closet, and would start moving things around, reorganizing it, getting rid of clothes, because she had lost quite a bit of weight. So this was, I think she lost about 40 pounds in total. But even when she was halfway through, that's what she would do. When she felt just whatever, out of sorts, down, temptation could be rising to turn to food. On two levels. A, she was going in doing her closet, which was sort of, I guess, productive and moving and doing stuff, but also it really reconnected her with how far she had come, because she could take her clothes that were her kind of clothes she was wearing when she was larger, and bag them, put them away, give them away to Goodwill. She'd try things on. Oh, this fits now. And so she said it was a game changer for her mood, and any temptation she may have had was gone. So that's, an example. The other thing is, quite frankly, sometimes it's just being okay with sometimes not always feeling so good. In our society, we're very quick to always want to be in our happy place and feel good. And within reason, sometimes, it's just recognizing, hey, I'm kind of sad, or I'm angry. And it will pass. You don't always have to make those bad feelings go away. We can't have the yin without the yang, right? Want to be happy, want to be joyful. Well, the other, more negative emotions are part of life as well. So they do pass. That's where the practice of mindfulness and meditation can help. Just sort of, you can observe the feeling and then just let it go. I know that sounds easier, I appreciate, said than done, but with practice it does get easier. And these are all tools, because these tools will help you to finally break that cycle of turning to food. And I had a couple of clients recently that had, one in particular I'm thinking of, that had very kind of tough episode she was going through in her life. The whole year had been very tough, and it was culminating into a meeting. It involved lawyers and whatnot. And she definitely, food was her pacifier. It was her go-to. And so I'd been working with her over the, whatever was it, a few weeks, 4 weeks. She changed a lot of her habits, was seeing great results and everything, feeling fantastic. But because of the fasting again, she was coming more to when she would realize, oh, I'm thinking about food. Okay, what's really going on here? And she would take her time to really kind of process the feeling, get okay with it. And the result was she was able to go into the meeting involving some legal stuff that could have been very stressful. And she said she just had this inner resilience because she worked through it, as opposed to if she'd never had the opportunity to work through some of those feelings. She said she would have been unraveled. She would have had a much harder time handling the meeting. She would have been looking for food to try to make herself feel better. She couldn't have had the food, and she probably would have somewhat unraveled. But she said there was just centered sort of feeling that she had. And believe it or not, it was through this process that she was able to get to that place. So using these strategies can be a great way to just have a deeper experience as you lose weight. In fact, another client was telling me about a book, and the subtitle in the book was about doing a sugar detox. The subtitle is When Physical Detox Meets Spiritual Transformation. I'm like, oh, well, that's pretty powerful, but yeah, I see it happen all the time. So yeah, keep some of those, make a list, checklist, things, ideas, things you could do that would help you. What would soothe your soul? What makes you feel good? What is it that you could do where time stops? We always have those things, right? Just know if you get into it, next thing you know, you've looked and it's like, oh my gosh, where did the time go? Those kind of things. make a list of things that you could do and turn to. So when you feel you need that, you've already thought it through and you know what you can put into place and do. Okay, so that's it for me, and I will be back again. Take care. Bye.